The largest challenges, as we see, are the challenges facing how do you not only find the talent, because there is a big skill shortage in the market, but then once you found the talent, how do you bring it into the organisation? We're seeing more and more remote models and more organisations that are setting up a hub in one place but having outlets in other markets. Because actually, these days, in order to build a business, you have to be flexible to the fact that you're not just dealing with individuals in isolation. They'll tend to have families, friends, other people they need to be involved with all the time. So the biggest, I think, changes now is how do HR tap into that, get the best people, keep the cultural organisation when it may be based remotely. The significant trends that we see are twofold. One is the pace of change. It's just so quick. It just seems to be with the influence of the Internet of Things, with convergent technologies, with big data. As soon as you get an idea about how you can get a product to the market, there's another channel or medium to get that message across. So the biggest thing we're seeing is actually it's being driven now by patients. Patient groups, advocacy groups. They're now having a say in the way clinical studies are put together. They're now having a say in whether that patient population should be able to access that medicine. So we see that as being probably the biggest shift, and that's going to change the relationship from being payer-based to being outcome-based. What will they need in the future? What we see now is nothing is done in isolation. So we see the best leaders are those who already know how to influence, persuade, but without using executive authority. So those people, for instance, who've worked in the not-for-profit sector, tend to be very good at building on the passion and the interest of people. And we think the leaders of the future will need to be very effective at managing multiple partners, alliances, and similar. And in addition to that, those people with above-country experience, it's a global market, more and more. Having that global experience and that influence and persuasion strength will really make a difference. I think real leadership is something that some people have a propensity to, who are natural leaders, and you see it whether it's on the sporting endeavour or in an environment within an academic institution. They're the ones who lead committees. They're the ones who will, go and do further ventures, as it were. But I do think there are fundamentals that can be taught, and sometimes people have been, particularly in this sector, so focused on their area of study because they've had to be to get to where they need to go, that they haven't had the opportunity to bring out that leadership gene. So yes, I do think it can be taught, but there are those people who automatically seem to have a capacity to be that way.